When Elvira Onufrienko walks on the new icon, only the sound of the clock mechanism is heard in her room. The master tells that the night and silence are the main assistants in creating holy pictures. When you walk at night, it completely involves you. You sit and you are absolutely focused on painting. And then nobody and nothing can bother you. I concentrate at work and it gives me pleasure. And then, when job is already done, you look at it and think, have I really done that? After graduating from the art school in the Vladimir region and working as a designer at the Balakirovsky factory, Elvira Vasilyevna returned to her hometown. Here in Ostrogozhsk she taught in the local teachers' club. Then Elvira made an acquaintances with her mentor, the artist Lyudmila. Elvira creating the icons with oil, the master relies on the Athonite icon painting style characterized by fine brush work and emphasizes on details. Elvira Vasilyevna says that secular painting is radically different from canonical one. We can't divide from the canon. If even in religious painting you can allow something, then it's impossible to be allowed here. We don't depart from the sample. It usually takes a lot of time to work with the picture, but you have to work much more when you work with icon. Because it should be warm, it should be dispassionate, it should not bring out a lot of emotions in people. During 18 years of work, there are so many icons by Elvira Onufrienko in churches of Voronezh, Kursk and Belgrade regions that the master the long lost count and doesn't remember the exact number of them. In the church of Tikhon Zadonsky in neighboring village Shubne, Elvira Vasilyevna performed her first iconostasis. It consists of almost 3 dozen icons. The first row is always painted with pictures of the Savior and Saint Mary. There are also temple icons here, for example Tikhon Zadonsky, after whom the temple is named. Mitrophany, that's Voronezh icon, the archangel are here. The 12 holy days are necessarily painted in the second row, which are celebrated on the same dates every year. Then the apostolic row is written. This is a row of apostles, saints. In the next row we paint the forefathers, the prophets who predicted the coming of Christ. And then you can write the hierarchical row. Not all iconostases have it. It depends on the height of the iconostasis. Well, here we have the Holy Fathers of the Church. The frames and walls of the altar iconostasis are made after the pictures of the saint were painted. There are 10 icons for worship and one of Seraphim of Sarov in the local church, also made by Elvira Onufrienko. The master is convinced that the icon painter must be a religious person. The artist came to God herself at the age of 18. At the same age she was baptized. According to Elvira Vasilyevna, when the finished icons are placed into icon cases and already got in the church, the icon painter's inner attitude towards them also changes. Within the studio's walls it looks differently as when I look at it in church. In fact, icons are my children. This is how the cord has been cut off, and that's it. And they go on with their own life. They have started becoming a part of the temple. In Elvira's studio, among the photographs of relatives, there is a snapshot of the wedding of her mother's grandfathers in 1936. Alexander Sontsev was from the Chuvash village of Kukushma. He was also an artist and teacher. So genetics itself and probably the heavens will contribute to the awakening of talent in the icon painter. The holy pictures are painted on canvas. Its thread goes bold in bone glue and fixed on a wooden board, mainly made of linden. Before laying paint, the canvas is covered with gesso, a special undercoat based on lime primer. At first you should write warm shades. This is called griselle. Then you clean them off with a blade. Everything that have gone into the board, it remained there. Then you start painting in 5 layers. When all 5 layers are painted, each layer should be cleaned with a blade, so that there are no dust, particles, nothing, so that the whole board is smooth. Then all layers dries up and are varnished over. In ancient times the icon was covered with linseed oil. Today there use modern varnishes, including polymer ones. The background and the halo above the head of the saint and and the painting last. Before painting the icon, a sketch is being prepared. It looks something like this, Holy Trinity. And these are old works for restoration. You can see there is no canvas and gesso. This icon was painted directly on the wood without any preparation, and accordingly, over time, all this entire colorful layer is falling off. And now it has to be restored. Now I am working on this icon. The image is good. I will recreate it. There is a piece of Savior, and later I will paint almost everything here. The older the icon is, the cheaper the painting materials are, and the more primitive the writing style is. There was an oil lamp hanging here. The lamp was set on fire, and it was damp because it's the lining canvas that we've talked about. And now you can see what a thin layer of gesso. It was of good quality. Look here. This is a Baroque style with this curve. It just shows the 18th century period. For the Church of Michael the Archangel, the master wrote the Mother of God as a well door of bread. The icon is placed by the current senior priest, Father Vladimir, in also places of his administration. Earlier, the congregation of the priests in the Ertel region prayed to the same image of the Virgin Mary, in the clouds from another artist. Here is another work of Elvira Vasilievna, the Saint Kniaz Vyacheslav from the Czech Republic, wrought by the Catholics as well. Today, the icon painter is taking from the priest the image of the engraving of John Chrysostom of the late 19th century for a future sketch. In fact, icon painting was developing in the merchant Ostrogozhsk. Icons were creating here in frames made of foil of various metals, tip, copper, silver and gold. Well, in fact, this is such a small panel there. It's not polished, it has not been processed anywhere. I'm already restoring it. This panel was nailed and then the frame of foil was made on them. The artist says that the interest in the elongated, so-called dimensional icons has been renewed in the country. It's believed that the tradition of making images of saints for newborns in the size of their head was introduced by Ivan Grozny. In honor of the birth of the second son of the Tsar, the masters made of icon of Ioan Listishnik, and this is a dimensional icon for the third son's further stratilat of Tsar Fedor. So, thanks to the icon Alexei, man of God, it's known that the growth of Tsar Alexei Mikhailovich Chishaishi at birth was 57 centimeters high. I had a customer in Voronezh. She ordered me an icon because her mother was seriously ill. When I was painting the icon, maybe it's my personal feelings, I don't know, there have been no miracles alone, but there was a smell of flowers in the air. Yes, it was. I work, of course, with solvents of good quality, but they don't smell like roses. And what kind of icon was that from which the smell of flowers came? Vladimirskaya.
Всех святых землеворонежских просиявших, святого великого мученика и победоносца Георгия, святого мученика Евгения Мелетинского, святого апостола Христова Матфея.
Elvira Vasilievna was also involved in the complete decoration of the Church of the St. George the Victorious on Zagorodny Street in the capital of the Black Earth region. The main concept of the composition is a reflection of fragments of the saint's life in combination with the patrons of the veterans' families who have donated the land where their house was located for the construction of the church. Elvira Vasilievna was working without a breeze, probably for a year only on the walls, plus another 6 months on the iconostasis. This is a kind of mixture of canonical and academic styles. That means their icons are, let's say, in a certain average version between heaven and earth. The master started working here in 2010 and finished in 2012. She worked from morning until late evening, went down the scaffolds only at midnight and came her hometown only on Sundays. That is how the painting of the walls altar took place. Our walls are painted in the style of the so-called fresco. The walls were painted actually, and the iconostasis accordingly was written on the panels. We sent them to her in Ostrogozhsk, and then was returned already decorated. When you paint, you also seem to be transformed, says Elvira Vasilievna. Over the years that devoted herself to the spiritual craft, the artist found humility, for which she is grateful for fate and to God, who has sent the master to the path of an icon painter.